showed me how to do this before.
See them top 3 buttons at the top?
Yeah, there we go.
Hit those.
Can you see it?
Hit those 3, and then you're gonna see that share button pop out, and then hit share screen, and then select your screen.
Whoa, look at that.
All right, now select the one that has the IDE in it. Yeah, so that way don't select desktop. Select the one that has the code in it. Actually, it's better if we run it in the browser, right? So open it up in your browser, and then share screen, and then say use the select the browser screen as the one you want to share. All right, so right there. So stop share, screen share. All right, so then click on your folder and open up your page in the browser. Then do share screen again, and select the browser window.
Shit, man. Look there. Look up.
Now I'm trying to get more touchdowns out of Travis Kelce for my fantasy team. All right, now we can see it. All right, so you want to open up your file in there in the browser. So open up your which one is your index.html or your home, whichever one is yours. Which one is yours? Index.
Yeah, right here, index.
All right, so open up that one in the browser.
How do you do that?
I just go to the. So what you got? This is VS Code, or this is
Yeah.
okay. Just go to because you're on a Mac. Go file, or actually view. Let's see how to do it from the Mac. Actually, try Go. Oh, okay. Debug. Try debug. Let's see. Start debug. Nah, yeah. Start debugging. See if debugging will open it in the browser. And
Google.
select Chrome. Yeah, type Chrome there. See if it does it. Nah, that's the hard way. All right, just go to what I do is just go to the File Explorer, or go to your, if you're on a Mac, go to the Finder, and then go to your folder with the file in it. Then right click on the file and say open in browser, open in Chrome.
Why isn't Finder working? I got so many damn screens up.
Get on the Mac. It's all something to search for. Replace the browser. I mean.
I think this is it.
There we go. All right. All right, so click on those 3 dots over there on the right. Open up your developer tools. And
So you do it like that?
Yep. And
I do it like this.
Oh yeah, you do it from the. Yeah, see, Mac has different. See, we don't have that option on ours. All right, so double click on the right there where it says data store to the right.
Data storage. Oh, you talking about right here?
Now go to the right in the browser. See right there on that big red, the line where it has the error. Yeah, see, go to the right of it. Right there on the error line where the red is, failed to load resource. Right,
oh yeah.
Yeah, click on that. Yeah. Click on that right there. Yeah, it can't find the file, so it's saying the location is not correct. Go back to your IDE, to index.html. And you say it's in scripts/datastore.js. Hit that command plus. So the command key and the plus sign. It didn't do it. Click on that. Click on that data store page over there. Next tab, the data store tab, and hover over it. Now hover over the tab name. It's not there. It's in desktop tissue mod data store. You need to put that in your scripts folder. So right click, save. Where's your save? Jeez, go file, save as. There you go, save as. Data store. Now hit the down arrow over there in the where. Yeah. And actually hit not that down arrow, but the next one over. Yeah. Alright, so drill down to your tissue mod. So is it in tissue or tissue mod 6? Which one you want it in? Tissue mod 6?
Tissue mod 6 is like my test folder.
Okay, so go in there. And go into your script folder that's in there. So you don't have a script folder in there. That's why. So this test folder doesn't have the same file path. Or is that scripts right there? Oh, there it is. See, right there to the right. So you have data.js in there, but you don't have data store in there. So click on that. Or is that a file? You just have a file named script/data.js. So you don't have a script folder in this. And your index.html isn't in this folder either. All right, so you're trying to save it. You need to save it in tissue. All right, so click on tissue. Back on tissue. All right, and your scripts folder. Where's the scripts folder in here? Yeah, click on
scripts.datastor.js,
so
subscriptions-graph.js, login.js, sign up subscription.
Okay, so you have a JS folder. Go in. Okay, so open that JS folder.
Which one, sir?
That one that says other JS, is that in that same sub? That's not in that folder, is it? See, the problem is
that's a JS folder.
Yeah. See, the problem is your index.html file says your data store.js file is in a subfolder in wherever index.html is running from. It says that script is in a subfolder called scripts and saved in a file called datastore.js. Well, in that folder, wherever that index.html is running from, there is no scripts folder with that datastore.js in there.
So I need to start over.
No, you just need to put the file in that location.
Clean it up, okay.
See, like go back to your index.html file. Hit cancel. All right. See how you put the path there, script/datastore.js?
Yes, sir.
Your file is not there. That's what it's telling you. It can't find it. So wherever this index, hover over index.html, hover over the tab name.
Over index?
Yeah. So that's in tissue. So that's telling you in that desktop tissue folder, you need to create a subfolder called scripts and put that datastore.js file in there. Because it's not there.
A folder called, I do.
So go to your desktop. Go to desktop.
That's my play account or my test one. Shit.
You see what I'm saying? So you have the test file. You have the test file in the test folder, but your index is not in that same folder. So when you're running your index,
this is the one that I turn in for class right here. See?
I can't see it.
Oh, can you see it?
No, we only see the IDE.
How about now? See?
All right, now we can see it. So you called it script/datastore. It should go in a folder called scripts is a folder. You gave it the name script/datastore.js. It should be a folder called scripts, and that file should be in that folder. So that's what that source tag means. It means that / means this is the name of the file, datastore.js, and it lives in a folder called scripts.
It lives in a folder called scripts.
Right, there you go. Vice versa, all your code is in a folder called JS. So resave your datastore.js in that JS folder, and then change line 13 in index.html to say JS/datastore.js.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes, sir. It makes perfect sense.
All right.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, everybody else, for your patience. I apologize for wasting your time.
No, that was somebody else probably had that same question about that script tag. So that's how that works.
It's been killing me all weekend. Glad you got a sense of humor.
I'm just me. I just know I got 144 points to 175. I'm losing. Anyway, what else we got?
So, how about the session storage thing? I think I'm confused because it went from CS5 to 6, ES5 to ES6 in the book.
Oh, it's still the same, right? So, did you see the video where I store something in session storage? In the book, the only thing they did differently was they created a class to hide the calls to session storage behind, right? So they created their own class or their own module called user storage. But if you look in the user storage, it's still just storing code in session storage with session storage dot, whatever.
I don't know. I think I just got confused by that.
Right? Don't let that throw you off. The same, we still store session storage. So if you, hold on one second. Let's do, let me see something. All right, so let me share. Where's my thing? Hold on.
Hang on, I'll pull you up right here.
So, remember, it would be better if you put it in the module, but I didn't give I don't think I gave any rule that it had to be in a module. So session storage works like this. I just say session storage, session storage, set item. So let's say I have a new user. So let's say I have a new user, var user, they're registering, and I store their values in an object. Right? And all right, we all agree with this code? Anything special here?
Nope.
What the heck am I doing here? Oh, I know I did. There we go. So that's just a user object with a username and password, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing exciting. So in our registration form, in our own submit button, right? So when our registration form.submit gets fired, our function that handles it, once it validates the value, grabs the value from the forms, validates those values, we probably want to create a user object with a username and password. And our goal is to store that in session storage, right? So what if I did this? Session storage, right? Actually, let's do this. User var obj equals let's just stringify that object. All right, and let's do obj. So there's our object stringified, right? Anything special that I did there?
Yeah, you threw up JSON on us.
I just stringified the object, right? That's it. Just converted it to its string format, right? Nothing special. All right, now, if I say session storage, remember session storage stores a value in key and value syntax. So our key, right, is going to be, probably we can say the user object with the key of their username, right? Because we need it to be unique. And what are we saving there? We say their actual user object, all right? Or we could just save, I could just do this. I don't even have to get that fancy. I could just do set item admin at tissue.com. All right. I don't even have to get as fancy as I did, right? Now, if we look right here. If I can remember how to get there, and they change things all the time. Where's my... What did they do with it? Hold on.
You're looking for session storage? It's under application.
They moved it to application. Where's it at? Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, they always changing stuff on us. Alright, so where's my darn values at? There we go. So see my values stored in session storage? So one has the key admin at tissue.com and the value test.123. So this will be username, this will be password. The other one has the key, my username, and then the value is my user object, right? So either way works, right? Now, how do I get that object back from session? Well, if I do it this way, right? Let's say I want the password for, let's say if I want the password for A Tillman, right? For admin. Well, I stored it under the username, right? So if I go with some password, bam, there's that user object. Now, if I do it the other way, if I get the other object, I ask for it with the key A Tillman. This time I have the actual object, right? So that means I need to convert it back to JSON in this case. Now I can say actual.password. And it's test123. Alright, so the book, all the book does, right, is it has the same underlying code close to it, but it puts it in its own module. Why is that better, right? It's better to have code isolated in our own modules because where are we going to put this at, right? We're going to put this in the form handler for registering a user, right? So now we got some code in that form handler that depends on session storage. Well, let's say we decided to change how we store our usernames, right? Well, everywhere that uses session storage needs to change. But if it was in a module, only the code that contains that module and talks to session storage needs to change. Anybody else that uses that module don't care, right? So that's why it's better to put it in a module. But I'm perfectly okay if you just put it inside the form and, you know, do what you do. Jesus, 3 touchdowns already?
I was having trouble using the session storage in the login JS file to get to, we had to put it into that file.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure if I know how. I was going to show you my code, but I'm not sure if I remember how to do it.
So just go to the 3 buttons at the top. Click share screen.
Okay.
And then you can either share the whole screen or you can click on the screen that says share particular screen. Or it says like screen to application window. If you click application window, it'll show you all your applications that you have open and you can just select one. Alright. here's the problem you have in this code right here. All right, so you have a function called document.getElementID. Well, you have the code document.getElementID, and you're listening for the submit. Are you trying to find an element called submit, or do you want the form? Or are you trying to find a button that clicks? What are you trying to do here?
The button that clicks.
Why do it the hard way? Why not just listen for the form submit event? Right? Because had that been what we've been doing?
I guess I could try it that way. It worked before with it when it was this way, so I just continued using it.
So much easier with the form. But that's because you may have multiple submit buttons on the page, right? Isn't it possible that you may have multiple buttons called submit on a given page?
Yes. Well, this one I don't.
Okay. Well, let's do it then. Let's see. So submit. So I'm assuming your button is called submit, right? It has the ID submit, and you're listening for the click event. In that click event, you create a new user store, and you say get pass equals new user dot get user dot value. All right. So where's that user? That user object is declared outside of this event listener, so it has no access to it. Move lines 3 and 4 to inside of that event listener function.
Oh, okay.
All right. Now you want to try it out?
But it seems to be working, but it always seems to go to this page. It was just letting anything that I put in here go.
Okay, so let's go back. Go back to the page where you log in. All right, so go to your those 3 arrows over there. What are we in? Edge. What's this? Edge?
No, I'm in Firefox.
Firefox. All right. All right. So go to those 3 slashes up at the top, and go to Web Developer, and we want Web Console. Yep. All right. Oh, type error. Look at there in your main.js. So there's a syntax error that's breaking stuff. So hit that little arrow there, right next to the big All right. So where is it telling us? It just tells us line 6 and 18. So click on main.js. Over there on the right. All the way on the right, same area. No, right where we were, same area.
Okay.
Back where you see that arrow at. See it, if you go to the right, see main.js in blue. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So what is it like? So let's put a. All right. So here's the deal. You put a Go back to your web console. And go to debugger. Now, see right there where it says file, and then under that it says C users, Deborah, dev, tissue, scripts. See a little arrow next to that file folder? Go up 1 line. See, yes, click that arrow. So expand that. All right, and double click login.js. All right, so let's put a breakpoint. Actually, see, your main is not even showing up here. Main's not showing up because main has a syntax error. All right, so let's go to your main. Let's see why your main. Go back to the IDE. Let's take a look at your main. All right, so go to main.js. All right, so we have an open function. We're taking window as an argument. That's right. Open bracket. We got our closing bracket for that. We got our closing parenthesis. We got open parenthesis, window, closing parenthesis, and we have our semicolon. So we got our syntax right for the module pattern. We got window.app var issue equals app.issue. Var issue store equals app.issue.store. And window.new issue equals new issue. All right, so you're sending it to an issue object. All right, so one of those objects then has our syntax error. So let's do this. Let's comment out 5 and 6. 5, 6, and 7. Let's comment those out. So we're going to try to isolate, figure out which one has the issue, has the problem. Actually, let's comment out 4, 5, and 6. Four, 5, 6, and 7, I'm sorry. Alright, so let's control S that. Let's go back to the browser window. Refresh. Alright, now main.js is showing up. Alright. Alright, so let us uncomment out the first one in main.js. So what's the first one? Alright, issue. Alright, save that. And refresh the page. And main is still there, so good so far. Alright, let's go comment out the next one. Uncomment the next one. Save that. Refresh. Main is still there. Go back to console real quick. Go back to the console tab real quick. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yep, good. Okay, go back to debugger. Alright. Alright, so let's go back. Comment out the next one. So my question is, why do you want to attach a new issue to your window object?
I'm not really sure. I'm not sure if I totally understand main and what it's doing exactly.
Okay, so what does main do in a Python program?
Well, I've never taken Python, but I have taken C++, and
Okay.
main was the first.
There you go. Main is the
is
first.
where the program would start in main.
Right. So basically, we're using main here to create all our objects that we're going to be using and attach them to our main objects, right? And attach them to our app, right? So that they're available to the other places in the application. Now, an issue is something that gets created arbitrarily throughout the application, just like the coffee order gets created arbitrarily, right? But we don't see, if we look at our main, hold on one second. Let me share my screen here. If we look at the main here, we don't see any reference to the coffee order here, right? We only see our top level objects, our data store and our truck, right? But we know we have a coffee object in there somewhere, don't we? Or an order object or whatever we had, right? Or did we? Oh, we just used it as the data itself, as the JSON. But you have your top level objects in your modules. Anything it works with should be hidden behind that module. So for instance, no one really cares about the issue object, right? Other than code that needs to store it somewhere. So if I were to just, if only the data store knew about the issue object and then I passed it the data it needed to, like the create issue method or wherever we're having to create issue, it just needs that data to create an issue object so it can stringify it and save it or whatever, right? So you don't necessarily need to attach that to the top level app, all right?
Okay.
All right, go ahead and share your code again. Let's go back to your code. All right, so let's go back and see if we can find that syntax error though. All right, so save that. Oh, hold on, did we Did we check it with issue store uncommented first?
Let me see.
Okay, still there. So it likes all of them. Click on main over there on the left. Let's see which one it's actually seeing. All right, so new issue is the one that hasn't. All right. So basically, if you want, and notice that we don't actually call the constructor on any of those. We just assign the constructor to the object, right? So that we can create it later. All right. So if you want to simulate that, go back to your code. All right, now take on line 6, take the parentheses off. All right. And now is your issue, is it a module?
Yes.
Okay, so then you need to say app.issue, right? Because it's attached to the app, right?
Oh, okay.
So on line 6, app.issue. Not there. Line 6.
Now, there's an app.issue on line 4. Will that interfere with that, or will it be considered a new?
It really, yep, it will. Yep, there we go. So that is an error. So take that 6 out. Good catch. So take 6 out completely. Yeah. Now you don't create your issue objects in here. You create. This is just for tying your objects to your app namespace so that you can create issues later on through it, right? So for instance, let me see if I can find. Trying to find a good example of it. I actually don't have a good example of it right now. But I don't think you're going to need your issue, but we'll keep pressing on. Let's see if we can make it. So basically we're trying to see if the if we can make the whatchamacallit work. The login now. Alright, so what happened to your screen here? Alright, so let's go back to your browser. And let's comment out issue for now. Let's just comment out that line 4 because I don't think we're going to. Let's comment out lines 4 and 6. I really don't think we need them, but we don't need them for what we're trying to make work right now.
So just go back into here
Mm-hmm.
and take out.
So comment out 4.
4.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, do you have? So you're not saving your user in a store, in a user store, or anything like that. You're just saving them in session. All right. So right there on login in the left, right where it says sources, click on login. No, click on the login.js file down at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, so let's put a breakpoint in here on line 7. All right, so one of the key things we're missing here is we're not listening for the window.onload event, right? Why do we always listen for the window.onload event? What happens if this code fires before your page is loaded and that button hasn't been created yet?
I'm not sure.
What do y'all think? What'll happen if her page loads and this script runs before the page is completely loaded and that submit button has not been created yet? Okay, so let's say I go to teach a class and I arrive to the class before students have registered. What happens? Yeah, won't know what to do, right? It does. If the element does not exist, if you say give me an element by ID called submit, but the HTML has not actually rendered that element yet, how's it going to set a click listener on it? Right? So what does Windows on load say? Windows on load says wait until the page has completely loaded, then call this function. So let's do that. That's how we always want to code. We always want to wait for the onload event to occur before we do anything that's involved with the HTML. All right?
Okay.
So go back to your code. All right, now at the very bottom, None of this went in login.js.
Down here?
No, login.js. The other script, login.js.
Oh, login.
Mm-hmm. All right, so line 19, let's put in a new line of code. And what should it be? Windows.onload, window.onload, right? Equals. And we need to assign a event handler to it, right? So we usually call it init, because what is it doing? It's initializing all our forms that need events and everything else. So just call it init.
What is it that I'm calling? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
You need to assign an event handler, a function that gets called when the onload event occurs, right? We generally call it init because it initializes all our JavaScript code, right?
IT.
Yep. And semicolon. All right, so now we need to create that function init. So go up to the top and create an empty function called init.
You want to take the S off Windows?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, now I need to create an empty function.
Called init, right? Because if you're telling it you're going to assign it, if you're going to tell it to call an init function when it unloads, you need to have that function, right? Don't create it inside of that anonymous function. It needs to be its own top level function. Nope, give it a name, space init. There you go. Alright, so what do we want to happen when the page loads, the init function gets called? We want to create our click listeners for our buttons and whatever. So now we need to move lines 7 through 21 inside of this function.
Okay.
Alright, so now what this means is your code will not try to set an event listener for the click event on an element until we know that it exists. Because we know the page is completely loaded before we try to do anything with those form elements. That makes sense to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back to the browser now. All right, so let's refresh this page. All right, now let's put a breakpoint on line 7. It's there. All right, cool. So that breakpoint is inside of the anonymous function that handles the click event. So when we click this button, we should see the breakpoint stop there. So hit submit. All right, so see how our execution stopped there? All right, so if you drag that bar up to give us, so we can see it a little bit better. So not that bar, right above where it says inspector console debugger, if you hover your mouse over that, it should turn into like a handle. Yeah, there you go. Drag that up. Cool. All right, you don't have to drag it all the way up. All right, so see on the right hand side, you see a triangle, go up some, triangle, a little curvy arrow right above where it says watch expressions. See that? All right, so those are step over, step intos, etc. So let's step over that value. All right, so step over again. All right, so if you hover over user, see it's no, see it's there. All right, so now, so we have an object, right? So that's good so far. All right, so step over again. Let's make sure we have an object in pass. All right. Step over it again because it hasn't retrieved it yet. Step over again. All right, now hover over it. All right, so we have an object there. All right, now, what do you see? You're retrieving the new, what's line 9? You're creating a user store. All right, so next. All right, step over. And there's our error. Our error's in there somewhere. All right, so let's do this. There is no user store. That's why. I don't see a user store there. Where's your user store? Do you have code for a user store? See how it's not showing up there? That's the issue store. Do you have a user store?
Yes, I do.
All right. So is it go to your into your index.html. Okay, so there's the user store class, but it's not showing up in our code. So go to your issues. Go to your index.html. Go to where you've added all your scripts.
I don't have it on index. I was
Oh, it's on your login page? Yeah, go to that page. I'm sorry. Whatever page you use for your login, go to that page. All right. All right, so it's there, userstore.js. All right, so that means that it must have a syntax error. All right, so let's look at user store. All right, everybody, let's look hard. Let's see if we can find this syntax error. Our app function user store this data user store dot prototype dot save equals function key value window dot session storage set item key value store prototype get session storage get item key return item at use room. Okay, take that 19 through 27. That comes out. It's trying to. You have the exact same thing in here that you had in your login form, right? This isn't going to work because this doesn't need to access any HTML or click event handlers or anything, right? That's not its job. So let's take out 19 through 27. All right, delete that. All right, let's see if that was our syntax error. So save that. All right, let's go back, refresh the page, run it again. Go back to our, now we want to go back to the login page. Alright, and let's click on our main. Now we see user store. Yep. Alright, so we want to click on our login.js and put our breakpoint in there. Alright, it's still there. Alright, so hit our submit button. Step over. Step over. Step over. Step over. Step over. Step over. Alright, we still got a syntax error in there, so we got to find this syntax error again. This is another one. Alright, so let's go back to the login page. Alright, so let us put the breakpoint. Remove the breakpoint from 7 and put it on 9. And let's step into when we get there again. So hit the submit button. Alright, you see that? Hover over those to the right. You want the one that says step into. Where we were, where it says step over, we want the one that says step into. Right? Step in. Step in. Alright, so there's another error. Go back to the login page. All right, click on user store. All right, put the breakpoint on line 6. Where's the error? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, hit the login button again. Submit. All right, hit the triangle button, which means continue. All right, so it's right. Yeah, that one. Dang it! What is it? Hold on 1 second, y'all. Let me check on my kids real quick. All right. Let's see. I can always count on somebody to make my life harder. All right.
We haven't gotten to my issue yet.
Oh Lord. All right. So let's see. All right.
Well, I can keep working on it if you want to go to someone else.
Oh no, because I think yours is going to help answer mine.
Let's go back to index.html in your IDE real quick.
Okay. Or did you want to be in login?
No, I want to be in login. I'm sorry.
Login.
All right. Login.html. That's where I want to be.
Okay.
All right. Scripts, user store.js, login.js, and the main.js. Login uses user store, so user store has to be declared before login. Yes.
Does main need to be on every page or just the page?
You know what? I know what the problem is. Go to yeah, main is gonna need to be on every page. So go back to main. Actually, we don't need to go to main. Go back to login.js. All right. Now let's do this. Because user store is in a module, it can't see that constructor. Remember, everything inside of a module is only visible to that module.
Mm-hmm.
So login.js can't see that user store. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because user store is inside of that module. So we need to export it, right?
Okay.
That's why it's not working. It needs to be exported as a module. So let's go back to, and then we would have to create this as a module. So I think for you, since you don't want to make this a module, your best approach is to not create a user store at all.
Just use the session storage?
Just use the session storage, yeah. So go into your, all right, so let's modify this code real quick then. Let's make this a module. Y'all want to make this a module?
Yeah, let's make it a module.
Let's make it a module.
Yeah, why not?
All right, so here's what I need you to do. Copy your code for me and put it in the window for me.
And how do I put it in the window?
If you go to the bottom of the page, lower left-hand corner of the page, click on that message, the little chat box looking thing, and copy and paste your code in there. Lower left-hand corner.
In our page?
In the
Over
hangout
here?
page. Yeah, see that
Oh,
little,
right here?
see the little thing that looks like a little comment over there, the bottom left-hand side of the page? It'll pop out. Looks
Oh,
like
okay.
a little comment box.
Okay, I see. And then just press the arrow to send it?
Yes.
Okay.
so let's see if I got that code. No messages. Didn't get it yet. Put it in there again. Oh, you didn't hit the send. Hit the little button. All right.
There.
All right. So let's figure out what approach we want to take with yours.
I made a little simple function for the user store. Yeah, I'll show you guys what it looks like. And then I just called that instead. And then all it does is just store it in session storage, and then was able to call that from the login script.
Yep. So what did you put yours in the module?
Yeah.
You want to share your screen?
Yeah, give me 1 second here. Alright, you guys see that?
All right. So what did you do here? All right. So you created a. All right. So you didn't necessarily create a module. You created a function.
Just a function,
Just a
correct.
function,
Yeah. And then basically just set it to the session storage, and then when for the login, what I did is I just had it actually get the item and store it to a different bar. So then when it goes to authorize, it actually looks for it.
All right.
And that was the way that I was able to get it and actually create the new user.
Right.
And then it was able to do what I needed it to do. But like I said, just a simple little function. I was having trouble trying to figure out a different way and decided to try to keep it simple.
Yes. Now let me modify. So we see that way. All right. So let me modify Deborah's code too to take a look at the simple way of doing it. Right. So that's one way. Let's take a look at another way, because there's always multiple ways of doing something, right? All right. So let's go the simple way of doing it.
Randy, you sound like me, man.
Been a long day, brother.
I
People
feel
buying furniture like crazy. Thanksgiving, holiday season, worst time. Don't y'all go out and buy no furniture. Wait till the summertime. Buy some.
Don't buy any furniture. It's Black Friday, right? We're supposed to buy furniture.
Oh man, it's been crazy, dude. Working 14-hour days. 2 loads a day. We normally do 1 load, but they're stocking up.
I know the feeling. Which one of my screens do y'all see right now? Do y'all see the one with the functioning NID and all that stuff in there? It says Deborah.js.
Yeah, that's what I think.
All right, so let's see how to modify Deborah's code the easy way. Kind of using the approach we just saw, right? Only thing we know is that at this point, right, we need to retrieve. She's trying to retrieve the user's value from the session so that she can check it, right?
Yes.
Why am I missing some code here? Something's missing. Where's the bottom part didn't come over. And this should be console.log, right? Oh no, we can use alert. I'm sorry. This is web class. I just had core JavaScript, so I'm like, no, we can't use alerts and you know what assignment? Because all y'all had core JavaScript already, so y'all remember that assignment with the payment schedule? That's the one they're all working on now. So they're all like, oh my gosh. All right, paste me that bottom part of that code, Deborah.
There it is.
All right. All right, let's go here. All right, so let's make this thing work the easy way. So when that function fires, all right, and this is the login form, right? You're trying to get the user values from the session, right?
Yes.
All right, so let's say you stored it in there the other way I stored it, where the key was the username and the value is the password.
Yes.
So session storage dot get item. Then our value, our key is going to be the user object's value, right?
Yes.
And that would actually give us back the password corresponding to that user value, right? So if we actually have, the first thing we need to do is check if we have one. So if pass that value, right? And pass that value equals the password that we got out of the session storage, and log him in, right? So that's it. You just need to modify that one line to use it directly. So we created a module, and that's the only line you needed right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have pass value in there twice? Why is it pass value and pass value?
What I have what now?
In the if statement, it's pass that value and pass that value.
What I have this?
Why is it both of them?
Because I'm making sure that this one has a value, right? Because if I just call this, it's going to be, and it's null, then it's going to throw an error.
Okay.
And I actually really should do this, right? Right?
So it's basically just a check.
Right? Checking to make sure that we have values, right? Because I could call the session. What if the user hasn't registered, right? Well, if the user hasn't registered, that's going to be empty string, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we want to check that that user has registered, right? So here we would actually say right? Take them to that page or something, right? So what is that? Because that's what that signifies, right? If I look in the session storage for that user's value, meaning the value that they entered in the form, and I don't get anything back, right? Because that's a falsy value. Remember from core JavaScript, an object or a variable that does not have a value returns false, right? So I don't need to compare it to anything. So that's a falsy value, right? So if it doesn't have a value, then they haven't registered, right? The only way they would have a value in here is if they've actually registered. Correct?
This is correct.
All right, what else we have? I got time for like one more. What you got?
Well, since we're sharing my screen, I got this error right here. That's been driving me a little crazy. Does that show up?
Hold on, I gotta go back to my hangout screen. All right, and let's go to yours.
I might have to do it again.
All right, yeah, we still just see your IDE.
Alright, hold on. Let's see. Up to the browser. Alright, does that show it?
Not yet.
Not yet. Yep, there it is. There it is. Issue is not a constructor. Issue is not defined. All right. Okay, so.
I think the default screen there. So, but this is the one I'm a little concerned about, though.
All right.
Because it says it's not a constructor.
All right. So go to main.js. And it says it's not a constructor. Hover over that. What is it saying?
Issue error.
Issue is not a constructor. All right, go to your issue. Actually, expand JS over there. Expand that JS folder. Right over
This one here?
Yeah. All right, go to issue. There we go.
Right here.
Capital I. Issue.prototype.create issue.
Oh, what am I looking at?
13.
Oh, right here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's got to be capital.
Yeah, because the prototype is attached to the constructor, basically, right?
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Alright. So this will be something easy.
That one was easy. That one was easy.
Alright, let me see. Oh, okay. That's weird. Oh, that's why I couldn't find it, because I keep looking at issue store and not issues. So that's why I kept messing up. It's like, where's this lowercase I at?
Yep, that little lowercase I killed you.
Yeah, I was going crazy. I was like, what am I missing?
Sometimes it just takes a different set of eyes.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well.
There it goes. Now it works.
Now it works. Beautiful.
Yeah, now it works. Very cool.
All right, y'all. Well, any more questions?
Nope, I'm good here.
All right, well, I'm going to watch this game. It's 30-30.
Is it for real?
Yeah.
Oh, man. My boy Patrick Mahomes is playing tonight, too, man.
Yeah.
I got to watch that kid.
Oh, yeah. Go see if I can find a Bex like Sean.
Yeah, I'm out of beer. I'm out of battery. It's about time to go to bed.
Who's that, Mark? Mark, you said you got to go to bed? All right, so guess what, y'all? I recorded this one, so I am going to post it.
All right. Very cool.
So y'all
Thanks
can
a
go
lot.
back and watch this again and enjoy all the generous torture that's involved in JavaScript.
There you go.
Y'all learn?
You guys have a good Thanksgiving.
Hey, y'all learning anything in this class? What y'all think?
Thanks, Phil.
Well, this is about as close as you're going to get to what you're going to really do in the real world, so enjoy it.
All right, thanks so much.
All right, I'll catch y'all later. Enjoy Thanksgiving.
You too.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Peace.